Good afternoon, and welcome to another one of my training videos. Okay, so the purpose of the video today is in relation to our pay-for-play system with the City of Houston. Now, this is also part of the City of Houston certified payroll, the entire system. As previously explained in previous videos, there's multiple steps required when we get these projects with the City of Houston. And one of the things that they require, in addition to the certified payroll system, is something that they call pay or play. Now, the system in general is very complicated. You can get very muddy very fast. So I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. Essentially, what pay or play means is that either you pay or you play. Doesn't make sense, I know. So essentially they want to make sure that the workers that are working for us are getting taken care of, I guess, in a sense, but not really. What it boils down to, without getting into too much political crap, is that they want to be reimbursed. Either the employee needs to have medical coverage, or you need to pay the City of Houston $1 for every hour that that person works on these projects. And essentially that money goes into the pockets of special needs, City of Houston programs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into too much detail or depth, but it's just another way for the city to line their pockets and line their coffers with money that they don't deserve. Anyways, all right, so every now and then, actually I say every now and then, but once a month, minimum once a month, we should be getting these emails from the City of Houston weekly, actually, for each individual project. But most of the time, we do not. And these are not automated emails. The emails that actually go out that's actually done by a physical person, our audit officer. So we have to depend on our audit officer to make sure that she is sending us these audit notices, and that way we can get into the system and complete these audits. And yes, a lot of times they're not sent out weekly, and you'll find yourself being sent 2 or 3 notices for 2 or 3 consecutive weeks to catch up on, because our audit officer wasn't doing their job. But let me show you here what this email looks like. So we will get these emails, and they'll be titled, they'll be coming from the City of Houston. And the memo line is going to be Houston, reminder, workforce utilization reports. And there's another email that they send out that's a contract report. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. So once you receive these emails, you can just click on any one of these links here that they give you. But actually, it's just this one link here. So to view the notices, click here. So you're going to click on this. And it's going to take you directly to this page. I'm already logged in, so it didn't ask for a password. Let me see if I can log out. Oops, I closed that website. Let me see if I can log out, and then when I click on that way it asks for the password, so you know what it looks like. All right. So when you click on that link, this is the page that you're going to be presented with. It's very difficult to see, but you'll see this button right here where it says log in. Very, very difficult to see. That's a very bad design. But so you click on that. I'll give you the username and password. For me in this computer, I already have it saved. So we're going to go ahead and log in. And you're going to be presented with this big mess of workforce audits. Basically, it's just previous audits that have been accepted and or submitted. Yeah, big mess. Don't really know where to go from here. The system is very, very messy, very cluttered. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to go to View, and then you go to My Workforce Audits. Remember I told you that there was also going to be emails that we would be receiving in reference to contract audits. So sometimes you'll get an email for contract audits and then also for the workforce audits. Both of those have to be completed. The contract audits only need to be completed monthly. The workforce audits are supposed to be done weekly. It's every 10 days or something like that. Anyways, so you're going to click on Workforce Audits. And you're going to see, actually, I think this is the page that we were already on. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be giving us all of our records. I apologize. Oh, yeah, here it is. Interestingly enough, the information that we wanted to see was on the third page. You would think that it would be giving us the oldest first and the newest last, but you can also click on the status and sort it that way. So again, View, My Workforce Audits. You go ahead and sort this by incomplete. So once we do that, we see that we only have one that's incomplete that needs to be completed. And you can see the date that they're requesting. Okay, so they're requesting from 6/7 to 6/13. And this is for the project McKee City Living Apartments. And that's another thing. In this system, we have several contracts. So you don't want to get mixed up here, pulling reports for a different project that they're not asking for. All right, so we know that this report is incomplete. Okay, we need to get this report complete. How do we do that? So the first thing that we do is we're going to go to our time recording app. You've seen this on previous videos for payroll and certified payroll. We're going to click on Reports. We're going to click on Tracking. And we're going to click on Hours by Team Member. Okay, you'll be presented with this box. If you remember correctly, this is the same box and the same report that you were presented with when you were doing certified payroll. Now the only difference is you're going to have to pull this report by custom dates. We can no longer do it by pay period because our pay periods, they don't match the dates that the City of Houston wants on their report. If you look at the City of Houston website, they want 6/7 to 6/13. 6/7 to 6/13. Well, that doesn't match our pay period at all. So essentially, we have to pull a custom report. Okay, so let me put this over here. Whoops, sorry. There we go. All right, so we have to pull a custom report on our on our time tracking app. So the way we do that is we go back to our app. They want 6/7 to 6/13. Okay, custom date range. 6/7 to 6/13. Group by, you can't touch that, it's grayed out. Then by date, so you're going to sort it by date. Uncheck this box. It's very, very important to uncheck that box. We do not want to include unpaid breaks. Okay, uncheck that. Filter by jobs. You're going to click on that. You're going to click the drop down box and select active jobs. Then you're going to select McKee City Living Apartments or the appropriate project that you're looking to pull the report for. You're going to click on team members and you're going to select the field team. The field team is the only team that we're concerned with. Okay? And click OK. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and download a grid. Okay? Download that grid. All right. Now that we've got our report, we can go to the folder where we downloaded the report to. All right. There our report is. Looks like I had downloaded another one just for y'all to look at. So this is the report that we downloaded. 6.7. Oops, I apologize. I just realized you weren't looking at what I was looking at. Okay, so we go to our downloaded folder and we look for that report that we just downloaded. There we go. That's one of the reports that we just downloaded with the appropriate dates. 6.7 through 6.13. So we're going to go ahead and double click that. We're going to open that report. All right, so now that we have this report on our screen, I'm going to zoom in on it so we can see it a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and select these boxes. Username, payroll ID number, salaried and exempt don't matter. We can delete those to get rid of them, and that way we're not looking at a bunch of stuff that we don't need. Make sure to expand your columns. Anything that looks like that, you need to drag or get right there where the cruiser changes, double click it so it expands and you can see all of your columns, okay? Go ahead and expand your names a little bit so you can see all your names. Okay, cool beans. Now we have all the information here at our fingertips. This is all the information that they want. So I'm going to drag this over to my other screen so we can look at what we have here, okay? So now that we have the information, the report for what we need, we verified that it's for McKee City Living. We know that the report dates is 6.7 to 6.13. I'm going to go ahead and view this report. Okay, a lot of information on this screen. Don't let it scare you. The only information that you really need to know is the information in this column here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. If you'll notice, this is the list of employees that were on the previous audit. These gray ones were new, so I'm just going to go ahead and click down here where you'll see my mouse. It says add all remaining employees to audit. The ones that are grayed out are not currently on the audit. You have to click them one by one and it's stupid. So the easiest thing to do is just to add all remaining employees, and then they're going to now all be the same color, which is white, meaning they're all going to be on this audit. You're going to go ahead and click on fill in audit. Don't worry about the payroll number. That doesn't matter. Don't worry about any of these boxes. This is the only information that you need to worry about. Very, very simple report. So if you see the report, this is the column that you need to worry about. This is the column. So here are the total hours for each guy, and this is the grand total hours for everybody put together, okay? So basically, you just go person by person. Jose Luis Bonilla. Actually, I'm gonna go off the information I have on the spreadsheet, because there are going to be some guys on this list that didn't necessarily work, so they might not necessarily have any hours. Okay, so we're gonna pull our information off of our Excel sheet, person by person. So the first person is Gustavo Cervantes. Gustavo Cervantes, he had 32 hours. Okay, we're gonna put 32 hours total and 32 hours worked, because, well, yeah, that's how stupid these reports are. Roberto Deza, he worked 32 hours. Let's see, where is Roberto? Roberto Deza, he also worked 32 hours. Okay. Next guy is Christian E. Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez, he worked 24 hours. Okay. Luis Guadarrama, 32 hours. Where is Luis? Ah, here he is. Luis Enrique Guadarrama. There we go. He worked how many hours? 32 hours. Jesus Hernandez. Okay, he worked 24 hours. Manolo Laura. Manolo worked 34 hours. Raul Laura. All right, so Raul Laura, I do not believe that we have him on this list. Let's double check and do a search. R-A-U-L, we do not. Okay, so what we do when we encounter somebody that's not on the list, we're just gonna go ahead and highlight that person so we know to come back to him. Okay, let's go ahead and continue down the list. Alex Enrique Lopez. Here we go. How many hours did this guy work? He worked 32. Alex Jose Lopez. Okay, how many hours did he work? He worked 24 hours. George Maldonado. He worked 32 hours. Wilson Melendez. Where is Wilson Melendez? Wilson Melendez. All right. Mr. Melendez worked 32 hours. Fernando Moctezuma. Fernando Moctezuma worked 32 hours. Hector Ponce. He also worked 32 hours. Gonzalo Ramirez. Gonzalo. Uh-oh. So that's another thing. We got to be careful. Sometimes these guys have very similar names. That's Gennaro Ramirez. And this is Gonzalo Ramirez. So we are looking for Gonzalo. Gonzalo Ramirez is who we're looking for, okay? So how many hours did he work? He worked 32 hours. Jose Adan Sierra. I don't think that we have this guy on the list. No, we have a Jose Luis Bonilla, but we do not have Jose Adan Sierra. So we're gonna highlight this guy so we can come back to him. Okay, so we've input everybody else into this list, but we have two people that we need to add to the system, and we don't want to lose the information that we've already input. So how do we proceed? What you want to do is you want to click on review. Don't pay attention to any of this right now. The totals, the hours are going to be off because we still have two people to add. Okay, we're going to save but certify later. So let's click on that button. All right, that way you don't lose all the information that you just put into the system. So now that that's saved but not processed or certified, you can go to the workforce employee list up here at the top. You'll see all these tabs, okay? Workforce employee list. You're gonna see a big long list. Well, the guys that we're looking for are not here because they still need to be added to the system. So we need to go over here to the right-hand side where it says Manage Employees. And we're going to click on Manage Employees. Now we're going to, you guessed it, right here on the right-hand side, we're going to click on the button that says Add Employee. All right, so the information that we're looking for is in QuickBooks. All right, so we need to add two people. And so they should already be in QuickBooks because most likely we've already written them a check. And they're already in the time application, obviously, because they're on our time report that we were looking at and we downloaded from. So let's go ahead and look up in the system, in QuickBooks, we're gonna look for these vendors, okay? So if you had just opened QuickBooks, you're gonna be presented with probably this page right here. You're gonna click on vendors right here if you have a shortcut set up. If If you don't have a shortcut set up, you're going to go up here to the top where it says vendors right here. Click on that. I'm going to go to vendor center and it'll take you to the vendor center. Okay. Let's go ahead and type in the name of the person that we're looking for. Just a first name most of the time is sufficient. Lara, for example. So it looks like we have two guys in the system called Lara. Makes sense because they're brothers. The guy we want to add to the City of Houston system is Raul Lara. So we're going to double click on this guy. We're going to move this over to the other screen so we have access to the system that we're actually trying to put the information into. All right, so when you click on, so when we were here and we clicked on the button Add Employee, we're presented with this page here. So really the only information that you have to put in is basically the ones that you're forced to. Everything else, do not touch. The ones that we have to put in are highlighted or not highlighted. They have a little red exclamation point on them, okay? So first name, last name. First name is Raul, R-A-U-L. Last name is Lara, L-A-R-A. And we skip down. He is an active employee. Yes. Social Security. Nope, we don't put that in there. Employee number. Okay. We do put the employee number, and the employee number are going to be the last 4 digits of their social that we have in the system. So in this case, it's going to be 2320. Okay. 2320. That is his employee number. His position, once again back to QuickBooks, his position is a Mason. This is how we put them into the system so that we know what they are. If you look up here at the top, they're always classified here. So this guy is a Mason. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag that off. Position is a brick mason, and general work category is masonry. Okay, always going to be masonry. That's what we do. And that's it. First name, last name, employee number, position, and a general work category. And to be honest with you, the position and the general work category aren't required, and neither is the employee number. But I like putting at least those 3 items in to kind of look like we're at least trying to be a little bit organized on our side. So once you have that information in, you want to click on Save and New because we have another person to input. And the process is the same. We're going to go over here. We're going to clear that search box. We're going to look for the next guy. The guy we're looking for, his last name is Sierra, S-I-E-R-R-A. And looks like we have him right here, Jose Adan Sierra. Okay, we're going to double click that, get his information available. Let's drag that off the screen there. All right, so this guy's name is Jose. And his middle name is Adan, actually, A-D-A-N. And his last name is Sierra, S-I-E-R-R-A. Active, yes, he is active. Employee number is going to be the last 4 digits of his social. Employee number, so in this case, 3693 is what we have in the system. And the position, this guy is a brick tender, okay? General work category, masonry. Now, when you're filling out these, the position and the general work category, I'm being presented with options when I click on the boxes because I've typed that in so many times, my browser is suggesting it to me. But in your case, you'll probably have to type it in manually until your browser kind of memorizes what you're doing. So when you click on this box, it's most likely not going to give you a drop down like mine. It's just going to be blank, so you're going to have to type it in. But again, if you're using Chrome, which you should be, it should start to give you suggestions like it does me. So this guy is a brick tender, okay, and the general work category is masonry. So we've added these 2 guys. So this is the last guy that we need to add. So we're not going to click Save and New. We're just going to go ahead and click Save and Return. Okay. Now we still have to click on, I can't remember what we had. Okay. So essentially by going where we just went down the rabbit hole, we kind of lost our place where we were. Now the way you can get back to where you were and make sure that it's the right place is that you can go to over here on the left hand side. You're going to click on View. You're going to click on My Workforce Audits. Nothing's going to show up here because most likely it's going to be filtered by the last filter that you set, which was incomplete. So what you want to do is you want to filter by pending certification. Okay, and now you'll see that it pops up. Okay, because what did we do? We saved it, but we didn't certify it. So it's going to be pending certification. Another thing is you can just click on All and just go to the last page because that's where it's going to be at, and you'll see the pending ones. Okay, pending certification, and it is for the project McKee City Living Apartments. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on View. All right, Edit Audit. We're going to click on Edit. Oop, I apologize. We moved a little too fast and I skipped over a step. Let's go back. Let's go back one more time. All right, so we are at this point where you clicked on the status as all, and then you skip to the last page. Now you can see this. Now what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and click on View. We do not want to click Edit Audit yet. We have to add the employees to this audit that we just added to the system. Well, and the way we do that is we go up here to the top and we go to Workforce Employee List, Assign Employee to Contract on the right hand side. Now we're going to search for the two guys that we just added to the system. They are going to be the ones that do not have the asterisk or the star next to their name. This guy right here. You see how his name is different than the guy above him and below. There's no asterisk, meaning he's not currently assigned to the contract. So we will go ahead and select him because we know that's who we have to add. Craft. He is pay. All of these guys are pay. We do not do play or exempt, so they're always going to be pay. Classification, we don't have to worry about that. Start date, blah, blah, blah. So you see right here, use contract start date. Just click that, and that's pretty much it. Click on Review, click on Save. And if you have somebody else that you need to add to the contract, and in this case we do, we click on Add Another Employee. Same thing, same process. Click on the drop down. Let's go ahead and look for our guy. There he is, Jose Adan Sierra. Okay. Pay, use contract start date, review, save. Okay, now we go back to our list of audits. Okay, workforce audit list is right here. We click on that, and it's going to show us the list that is still pending. Click on that. You see how it added the two guys right here, but they're not part of this audit yet. We can add them to the audit one by clicking them here, or we can just click on Add All Remaining Employees to Audit. So in this case, we're just going to click on Add All Remaining, click OK. They're added. Now we can click on Edit, and we add these last two guys to our report. So Raul, there we go. Raul Lara, I'm sorry. How many hours did this guy work? He worked 24. And Jose Adan Sierra, right here. How many hours did this guy work? It looked like he worked 16 according to our report. Okay, those are the only two guys that we had to add because everybody else was already there. Now we click on review. It's going to give us a summary. 434 hours, or the total is 434. We want to compare that to our spreadsheet. Our spreadsheet is 434. And the report is also 434. Now, the City of Houston system rounds everything up. So sometimes, especially if we have guys that worked half hours, half hour shift or in half hour decimals, sometimes the City of Houston hours that they have added up here are going to be more, and sometimes it can be less, but it's not going to vary by much. It can vary by a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours. I think I've had it vary by 4 or 5 hours at one point. Depends on how many people were working, how many people are working, and how many decimal or partial shifts they worked. Okay, but for the most part, this should match or be very, very close. Okay, so now that we verified that information, we can click on save and certify. Save and certify. Okay, now you're going to be presented with this screen. Signature. I certify the information submitted is correct and accurate. You're going to type your name in there. In my case, well, I'm going to type my name, and I'm the owner of the company, and all of this information here is probably going to be pre-filled. Today's date, that should be pre-populated. Just double check, make sure everything's correct. This is where you can attach files. I never do, so don't worry about it. Click on review. It's basically just presenting you with the same information, giving you the opportunity to edit if you need to. Check this box right here where it says I am certifying that this audit contains information that I understand to be true and accurate. And you click that box, and you're going to certify and release to organization. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You can go back to audit list, and you can see that on this specific contract, you can see the contract up here, McKee City Living. You can see that we have nothing pending and everything is in the system. Okay, and that's pretty much it. But another way that you can double check to make sure that there's no pending audits is you can go to the view, and you can go to my workforce audits, and you can click on incomplete. As long as nothing pops up here, you're good. And by doing this, going to the view and clicking on my contract and my workforce audits, is that it's pulling up the audits for all of the projects that we're assigned to, not just one, but all of them. And you can get to individual locations by the same means. View, my contracts. For example, if you just wanted to look at one, okay, here we go, McKee, view. Now we're inside a job folder for this specific job. You see up here at the top, McKee City Living, compliance audit lists, workforce employee list, workforce audit list, and so forth and so forth. Like I said, the system is a little messy, but I think once you get the hang of the system and figure out how to navigate, it's fairly simple. Anyways, that was the extent of the lesson today. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening.